bright future. Every student matters.
Coming to the second part of the chapter. I wrote in large block letters. So Maya was sitting at the desk with a sheet of paper in block letters, as in capital letters. She started writing, catching a crook. This was the heading of whatever she was about to write. Expert detectives Nishad and Maya Pandit by appointment to the whole world. Now she has mentioned that this whatever story or a diary entry or whatever she is going to write, she has written who has written it, who has found out about the crook, how did they do it, and who are the people. The people are Nishad and Maya Pandit, and they have been appointed by the whole world. Then I began writing. About half an hour later, I turned towards Seven, who was lying on his tummy, chin cupped in his palms, reading comics. Want to hear what I have written? I asked. So now Maya started writing. Heading we have already seen. The topic was catching a crook. And she had given the names Nishad and Maya as the expert detectives. So she began writing. Almost about half an hour, she turned towards Seven. She just, she looked at Seven. What is he doing? So what was Seven doing? Seven was lying on his tummy, as in he was lying, on his tummy, and his hands, chin was cupped in his palms, like this. He was lying like this on the bed, and he was reading a comic. She asked Seven, do you want to hear what I have written? See, this is lying on the tummy, and these are the cupping hands, cupping the chin with the palms. Maya is sitting here and writing. This fellow is reading the book. He looked up questioningly. I have listed all the facts we know about Mr. Nath, which might help us to trap him, I said. Want to hear? Seven nodded. So Maya, he questioned Seven, do you want to hear what I have written? Nishad, he looked at Maya in an inquisitive manner, and he kind of, he gave a questioning look. So Maya said, I have listed all the facts we know about Mr. Nath, which might help us to trap him. So Maya told him that I have kind of made a list on which I have put down all the facts, all the things we know about Mr. Nath, and probably these pointers can help us find Mr. Nath, or trap him. Do you want to hear? So Seven nodded in a yes. Fact number 1. I read, his name is Mr. Nath. We must discover his first name. So Maya started reading, and the first fact she read was, his name is Mr. Nath. We must discover his first name. So Maya had written that we know that his name is Mr. Nath, but we do not know his first name. So we must first discover his first name. Do you think that's his real name, Maya? Nishad asked. So after listening to this, Nishad in a questioning tone again asked Maya, do you think that's his real name? Probably not, I said. Most crooks have an alias. Alias means an alternate name. I added a big question mark after Nath. So Maya, she said, probably not. I know that most of the criminals, they have a fake name or an alternate name just to make sure that they are not being caught. So she added a big question mark after fact number 1, where she had written that we should find the first name, and written the word Nath. So she had put a question mark there. Fact number 2. I read on. So Maya continued reading. Fact number 2. The tenants at Shankar House say he is mad, strange and unfriendly. So she continued reading, and the fact which was on the number 2 on his list was, the tenants at Shankar House say he is mad, strange and unfriendly. So there were some tenants at the Shankar's house, and they had told, they used to say that Mr. Nath is some person who is mad, he is not friendly, he is unfriendly and he looks very strange. Number 3, he doesn't talk to anyone and is mannerless. So fact number 3 was that he was a quiet fellow, he did not talk to anybody and is mannerless, and he lacks the basic manners. But he did talk to us, Maya, and Mama says he is very polite, Nishad interrupted. So after listening to the fact number 3, Nishad immediately said, Maya, but he has spoken to us. He talked to us. He did. And Mama has told us that he is a very polite fellow. So that you have written he is mannerless, it's not true, because Mama has already told us that he is a polite fellow. He only talked to us because he had to, I said, and since he was under Mama's medical treatment, he has to be polite. So Maya answered back that he had to speak to us because it was his emergency, it was his need. He had to speak to us. Moreover, he was polite because he is under our Mama's medical supervision, medical treatment. That is why it is kind of mandatory to be polite with us. Fact number 4. He doesn't receive any letters. 7 nodded. When he learnt about fact number 4, that Mr. Nath has nobody to write letters to him, so 7 nodded to it in agreement. Fact number 5. He's been living in room 10 of Shankar's house for more than a year. I continued. So Maya continued that fact number 5 was that he was living in Shankar's house for almost more than an year in room number 10. Number 6, he doesn't work and sits in his room all day. He has no job, he doesn't go anywhere, he doesn't work, he doesn't earn money, he just sits in his room all day. The whole day he is just there inside his room. Number 7, the kids in Shankar house and even some of the grown-ups are scared of him. So number 7 fact was the kids who were there in Shankar's house, they were scared of him. Even some grown-ups were scared of him. Number 8, he has no visitors except for a spectacled, fair, fat man who visits him on Sundays for lunch. So fact number 8 was that there was a visitor who came almost every Sunday, who looked fat, who had spectacles on him, who was fair and tall. He was the only person to visit him. Otherwise, Mr. Nath had no visitors. Number 9, food and tea are taken to his room by Ramesh from the restaurants downstairs. He doesn't care what he eats, pays his bill immediately and tips well. And last point Maya says, food is being taken to his room. He doesn't go out to the restaurant or anywhere to buy or eat something. Food is being taken to his room by Ramesh. He tips well, he eats in his room and he pays immediately in cash. That ends my list. Have I forgotten anything, 7? So with this, Maya ended the list and then she counter questions Nishad, 7, have I left anything on the list? Have I forgotten something on the list? Nishad had obviously not been paying too much attention to my list of facts. All he could say was, poor man Maya, he must be so lonely if he doesn't have any friends. Maya knew that Nishad is not paying his complete attention, his full attention to the list Maya was speaking, but Nishad could only say, poor man Maya, he would be so lonely that he has no friends. How can a crook have friends, idiot? I almost shouted. Maya got very angry and in an agitated tone she shouted on Nishad, "How can a criminal have friends? A criminal doesn't have any friends."
At least he has one friend, the one who meets him on Sundays, said Nishad. So Nishad, in a concerned way, and he's trying to convince Maya. So he says, at least he has one friend, the one who comes to meet him every Sunday. So he is there, that friend is there. A brilliant thought occurred to me just then. And a very, very great idea, a great thought occurred to Maya at that very moment. That man must be Mr. Nath's accomplice in crime, I said. So Maya said, that man who visits him every Sunday, that might be his accomplice. What is an accomplice? An accomplice is a person who helps somebody to do something bad, especially a crime. Okay, so Maya suggests that the person who visits him, it might be, he might be an accomplice, a person who helps him in doing the crime. So she is trying to convince Nishad on that. Maybe he keeps all the loot and he comes now and then to give part of it to his partner, Mr. Nath, for expenses. Maya says, maybe that person, he is an accomplice of Mr. Nath and he keeps all the loot with himself. Now what is a loot? Loot is money or expensive articles, expensive items which are stolen by the thieves. So Maya is saying that this fellow who visits Mr. Nath every Sunday, maybe he is the person who is his partner and he is keeping all the loot with him, and now he comes every Sunday to, give his part to Mr. Nath. For expenses. For expenses means the cost or money that is spent for a particular purpose. Suppose I say my expense on food is ₹10. That means the money which I spend on food is ₹10. So money which is spent for a particular reason, that is expense. So she says that maybe he is coming here on Sundays to give Mr. Nath's part, his share to him for his expenses. That's it. I'm sure I'm right. And she is kind of, sure. She is feeling proud about it, that whatever she has reasoned, she has given the statement, it is correct.
If you insist on calling him a criminal, I don't think I want to discuss anything with you, Maya. Nishad got really agitated. He got frustrated with the kind of thinking Maya was having. All the time she was calling Mr. Nath as a crook. So he got really angry. He said, if you insist on calling him a criminal, I do not think that I want to discuss anything with you at all, said Nishad angrily. He can't be such a bad man if he gives Ramesh such generous tips. So Nishad, in a counter answer, he answered, he cannot be a bad man. Mr. Nath cannot be a bad fellow. Why? Because he gives Ramesh so much generous tips. He gives so much, such a big amount of money all the time to Ramesh. Ramesh probably knows something about his past, so Mr. Nath must be bribing him to keep quiet, said Maya. Maya, in again counter answered Nishad, and again she said in a very, very firm tone, she said, Ramesh probably knows some kind of secret probably from Mr. Nath's past, and that is why Mr. Nath bribes him as in he is giving money to him to keep him happy so that Ramesh doesn't speak a word. He keeps quiet. Nishad glared at me with his arms tightly across his chest. I was beginning to get fed up with him. Nishad was not believing Maya at all, so he glared at Maya. Glare at means to look in anger, to stare at somebody. So Nishad stared at Maya with his arms tightly crossed like this, tightly crossed across his chest in anger. I was beginning to get fed up with him. Maya was getting irritated with Nishad because Nishad was not giving support to Maya. Instead, he was all the time he was counter-questioning her on her thinking about Mr. Nath, because Nishad believed that Mr. Nath was not a bad fellow. How can we make progress with our investigations if you take that attitude, 7? I asked. So Maya asked Nishad, how can we even make any kind of progress in the case or in the investigations we are doing against Mr. Nath if you have that kind of attitude? If you don't believe me, then how will we even investigate? How will we even move ahead with our questions to find what exactly Mr. Nath was? I will cooperate only if you give up this idea about him being an escaped crook, said 7. You really make me angry. So Nishad said, I will cooperate only if you stop calling him crook. If you stop thinking in your head that he is a crook, only then I will help you. Only then I will, I will support you in whatever investigations you want to do against him, said 7. Maya, in a very angry tone, she says, you really make me angry. So she, very angrily, she told 7 that you really make me angry. I almost hit him. I make you angry, you stupid oaf, I shouted. 7 said, you really make me angry. 7 told Maya in anger that you always make me very, very angry. Why? Because you always think that he is a crook. I almost hit him. Maya got so angry that she thought that he'll hit 7. I make you angry, you stupid oaf, I shouted. So Maya said in a very agitated tone, I make you angry. It is you who makes me angry. You make me mad. What is the point of all these inquiries if it's not a crook? So Maya tries to explain 7 in anger. What is the point? Why are we even investigating? Why are we trying to do any kind of inquiries against him if he is not a criminal? We should have left it earlier only. If you think he is a nobody, what's the idea of bothering him? Please tell me. So Maya explains Nishad that you think if he is a good fellow, if he's nothing wrong about him, then why should we even bother him? Tell me, explain it to me. This is what Maya said. Nishad looked thoughtful. Nishad started thinking in his mind whatever Maya said. I would like to find out why he is so thin and why he is so lonely. I want to know why he doesn't have friends and lives alone. Now Maya says that I want to know that why this fellow is so lonely. Why he keeps to himself? Why does he not go anywhere? Why is he so thin? Why he lives alone? So Maya tries to explain Nishad that I have these questions in my head which I want to get the answers of. Try to understand 7. I told him, if he's lived in Shankar house for a year and hasn't made a single friend, there is something wrong. So Maya tries to explain 7 and she says in a very genuine or very serious manner, she tries to explain to 7, if this fellow, he has been living in Shankar house for almost an year and he still is not friendly, he doesn't have any friends even in a year, then there surely is something wrong. Something is not right about Mr. Nath. If you live at a place for almost a year, you tend to make friends. You make acquaintances at least. But this fellow has no visitors except for just one. So there is something fishy. He is obviously scared that someone will recognize him and give him up to the cops. So Maya again comes to the conclusion, probably he is scared that if somebody would recognize him, they will pick him up or they will take him to the cops and cops will put him to the prison. Maybe no one's tried to make friends with him, Nishad protested. So, whatever Maya said, in protest to that statement of Maya, Nishad in anger said, probably nobody tried to even make friends with him. Even that's possible. Why should anyone bother? You've seen what a nasty bear he is, I said. So Maya again replied to him, why would anyone even bother to speak to him? He looks so nasty. He doesn't look friendly. So why will even somebody come and talk to him? I don't care, said Nishad stubbornly. I like him and I'm going to try and be his friends. Nishad said, I don't care. I do not bother whatever you think about him, but I like him and I'm going to him and I will try to be friends with him. Friends with a crook? Ha! You crazy, Seven, I said. Maya got surprised. In a very agitated tone, she said, friends with a crook? Are you mad? Have you gone crazy? The cops will take you to jail with him. Do you want that to happen, you idiot? Now she tries to explain to Nishad, are you mad? You are going to be friends with a crook, a criminal? Police will take you along with him. Do you want that to happen? You want to go to jail with him?
Nishad merely glared at me and quietly walked out of the room. My theories seemed to have made no impression on him at all. So what happened? Nishad merely glared. Merely means only or just. He just glared at Maya. Glared means staring at somebody in an angry manner, looking at somebody angrily. So Nishad just looked at her angrily and silently he walked out of the room. My theory means explanations or ideas. So whatever explanations Maya had given, it seemed to have made no impression on him at all. No impression. Impression means effect that somebody produces on someone. So Maya was trying to, impress him by giving the theories, by giving her ideas, her explanations. So the ideas what Maya gave to Nishad, it did not made any effect on him, and he walked silently out of the room. So this story was written by Sharada Dwivedi. I hope you have liked this story. It gives us a lot of values and morals, lot of lessons, and I hope you have enjoyed it. We'll meet another time. Thank you.